Minnesota needs an energy policy, not just a renewables energy policy, but an energy policy. Sometimes in all of the discussion around renewables, and renewables are important, we need to make the investment in it, but we also need to remember that Minnesota can do a lot more in conservation. So I think a three-pronged energy policy of conservation, responsible use of fossil fuels, how do we use fossil fuels without damaging the environment, and how do we invest in new sources of energy, particularly renewable energy. I think we get there with a couple of thoughtful policies. One is that I've proposed that we invest in research at the University of Minnesota and other higher education institutions as a separate line item in the state budget. Don't force our great research universities to have to move dollars around to do research on the cheap. Research in areas like emerging technologies around renewable energy has great value to Minnesota, to all Minnesotans, and we ought to invest in it as a line item in the state budget. Secondly, we need the tax reform then that is going to allow the innovation, the new technologies, the new developments around renewable energy and other areas to find a marketplace where there's investment capital, where they can take these great ideas to market, because we've created a tax structure now that is going to promote investment capital, that's going to make it possible for these new technologies to become part of our business community, where we can see the economic growth from it. And thirdly, we need to be smart about all energy. We need to understand that while we make investments, while there is a need for public investment in energy, we have to make sure we're doing it in ways that allow us to still be economically competitive. One of the great economic assets Minnesota has is that our energy costs are cheaper by and large than the East and West Coast. We need to retain that competitive advantage. We also need to make sure that we're being fair to all the people within the state, that while it's great that wind energy has tremendous potential in some parts of the state, particularly in southern parts of the state, if you're living in Warroad, Minnesota, wind energy isn't so great. We need to find the balance there so that we're not asking people to disproportionately subsidize the energy consumption of other people, that we're doing it fairly, we're doing it as a state, and as a state, we're also looking beyond our borders.